Hey, what's up guys? Frank here with another video, and today I wanted to make a video on how you can make your own website using Bluehost. And there are many reasons why you want to create your own website, okay? And so maybe you want to create your own personal website, maybe you want to create a blog, maybe you want to create an online store. Maybe you want to create an agency that creates website for other people. And so there are many reasons why you might want to create a website. And I just wanted to make this video to show you how you can do it. And so in this video, I'm going to use Bluehost because this is the service that I personally use, but there are other solutions that you might want to look into depending on your needs. And I choose to go with Bluehost because Bluehost is basically an hosting service. And so if you choose an hosting service, you have to make sure that you know what you're actually doing, because when you choose an hosting service for your website, you have to deal with more technical stuff, okay? But I'm comfortable with the technical stuff because I've used Bluehost also in the past, and so I've had a great service with Bluehost, so I'm gonna talk with Bluehost, okay? And so Bluehost basically has a bunch of plans that you can choose from, and as from right now, I'm using the basic plans because right now my goal was personally to create a simple website for myself, I guess, just a simple website to create my online presence. And so I decided to go with the basic plan, okay? And so I don't think I'm gonna make some sales or money with this website. I just wanted a simple website to for myself, okay? And what I would recommend with these plans is that if your goal is to simply create your own website, then I would go with the basic plan. And if your goal is to create an online store and do some e-commerce with your website, then I would probably go with the online store, okay? And And those are the solutions that I would choose only if you choose hosting, okay? Because there are other solutions as well, but if you want to deal with the hosting, you can choose these, okay? And if you want, for example, create an agency that creates multiple websites for people, I would actually change the service to go with SiteGround, because the cool thing about SiteGround is that their service here and their plans, they basically unlimited they basically include unlimited websites, okay? And so if you're creating an agency that creates a lot of websites for other people, then having an unlimited website might be very useful to you, because on Bluehost, depending on the plan that you choose, then you're restricted, okay? Because for example, on the basic plan that I chose, I'm only limited to one website. And then I think the maximum website that you can have on Bluehost is like 5 websites. And so having unlimited website for your agency, if you're planning to create a lot of website, then it might be useful, okay? But those are hosting services, okay? And if you don't want to deal with the hosting services, because choosing hosting services is actually cheaper than usual, but it comes with more technical skills and more technical details. And so if you don't want to deal with it, then what I would recommend is to go directly from WordPress. And basically WordPress, you don't have to deal with the hosting at all. You just pay for what it is, and this is really great, okay? And another thing that you can do also is use Shopify. Shopify, it's easy to use, and if I don't recommend if your goal is to only do a blog and a simple website, I would not recommend using Shopify, because Shopify is mostly for e-commerce. Shopify is optimized for e-commerce and building an online store, but it is possible. And Shopify, since it's very easy to use and it's very optimized, it is also more expensive. Okay, and all the prices that you see here are all in Canadian dollars because I live in Canada. Okay, but as for myself, I'm gonna use Bluehost, because as of right now, my goal is only to create my own personal website, and I decided to go with the cheapest plan because I don't need that much. Maybe I'm gonna upgrade in the future if my needs evolve with time. But as of right now, my goal was simply to create a simple website, and maybe at some point I'm gonna change it to create an online store, or maybe I'm gonna add more features. But as of right now, my goal is simply to go with a basic website, and so this is what I chose. Okay, and so in this example here, I'm just gonna go with the basic website, but depending on your needs, you might go with the things that the plan that you want to use. Okay, and so I'm gonna select this one here, and I'm just gonna go through the funnel with you because that can be a little bit complicated, and maybe my knowledge and my experiences can help you with these things. Okay, and so here, when you want to create a website, the cool thing about creating your own website is that you get to choose your own domain. You get to purchase your own domain. Okay, and usually the plans that you get, they often come with a domain. Okay, especially if it comes with an hosting plan. Okay, so let's see here. And so you see these plans here, they come with one domain. And what a domain is basically the name of your website. Okay. And so the name of your website, you have to purchase it, and it's a it's an annual subscription. Okay. Every year you have to pay for the subscription for this domain. But in these cases, the domain is free for the first year. Okay. This is kind of what Bluehost is offering, but it might change depending on the service that you get. Okay, so let's see, for example, SiteGround. So you have one website. There's a free email. There's a bunch of feature. Okay, and you see this one has e-commerce enabled, so that could be interesting. Out of the box check. Okay, so you see this one doesn't seem to have the free domain. So does this one have the free domain? But it's actually not that expensive. I mean, the domain is usually like maybe $10 or $15. I'm always thinking in Canadian dollar, and so if you're in US, it might be even cheaper. So I'm gonna select this plan here, and so basically here you choose your own domain. And so if you're creating your own website, you gotta have an idea about the name of the website that you want to have. Okay, and so one good website that I love to use to check the domain is basically GoDaddy. Okay, and GoDaddy specialize in selling domains and selling domain names, and so I love their search here. So basically, if for example my name is actually François Ringuette, so you might want to maybe check for your name. Okay, and so depending on your needs, you can simply check the domain name. Okay, and so I had a choice to purchase my own domain, francoisringuette.com, but as you can see, it's pretty expensive for a simple domain, and i didn't I didn't purchase this domain. But you see, the idea is that you get to see the the domains that are available, and you get to see the prices which around which price they turn around, right? And so here, as you can see right now, francoisringuette.com is really expensive. And I also chose frankring.com, which is basically a simple term. But as you can see here, frankring.com is actually taken. So that happens. Okay, sometimes the domain that you want is taken, or maybe it's very expensive. So the goal here is to basically choose a domain that is not taken. And if it's taken, you can maybe try to purchase it from the other person, but it becomes more complicated, okay? And so the idea here is that you get to choose your own domain. You choose your domain and you're going to purchase it, okay? So here I'm just gonna basically put XYZ as an example, and I'm gonna choose those are not I'm gonna choose this one, okay? It's just a random domain, but you choose your own domain, okay? And so I just add it to the cart. And this thing here is very important that you check all the things here, okay? So here I basically chose the domain xyz365.net. I mean, I just chose this as an example, but you should choose your own domain. And one thing that I'm just thinking about right now is that you should ideally choose the .com, okay? You should choose the .com because the .com is more conventional, and I think it has more power, and it's just more conventional. And also, you should make sure that your domain is simple to remember, because the people that are going to use your domain and your website, you want the people to remember the name of your website so that it's easy to remember, okay? You get the idea. But here it's just a random domain that I chose, and so I don't care that much about it. I just make this video, okay? And so here you basically put your all your accounts information, and you choose, just basically everything related to the purchase. But what I really want to talk about here, okay, is the extra packages, okay? This is really important because when I made my purchase a few weeks ago, I made a few mistakes, and so I don't want you to make the same mistakes. And so there are a few important things that you have to keep in mind when you choose the extra packages. And in these things, there are a few packages that are important, but some of them you can remove them because, as you can see, there are a few packages that are actually already checked, and so you don't really need to. Is it important to get these things? Okay, that's an important thing, and so you have to make sure that you have the right service here. I'm just gonna choose 12 months instead of 3 years, because I think 3 years is quite long. And I think 1 month and having an annual subscription, I just think it's better. And also, let's check here the domain privacy. Okay, this is an important thing, and I would recommend you to use it. And everything here is optional. All the extra packages are optional, but I'm just giving you my advice. Okay, and so the domain privacy is pretty useful because, let's see the more information. So basically, when you purchase a domain, you registered the domain to your name, okay? And so by registering the domain, all the information that you're going to put here, your name, your street, and your email address, you basically anybody that is searching for the website that you're registering, okay? For example, this website here, everybody that is looking and searching for this domain has access to the information of the registration, okay? And so basically here, the domain privacy and protection, what it does is that it protects your information from the registration, so that what the people see is actually some random private stuff, okay? So basically it tells you what it does, and all the street of the registration is basically changed for a anonymous one, and the name and your email and even your phone number is basically some random things that are put in place for your privacy, okay? Because the thing is that the thing that you have to keep in mind is that some people, okay, are looking at these things to promote their own services, okay? And so having the privacy and protection is I think it's really important because some people actually look at these things to call you and send you some emails or whatever. And so having this privacy thing, I would highly recommend you to use it. And every time that I purchase a domain, I always get the privacy domain because I don't want people to call me. I don't want people to send me emails about their random service. I mean, it can be useful to you, but when you register your domain, anybody has access to this information if they know how to make the research. And so I would recommend you to use that. Okay, there are also a few things that I would not recommend. There's also CodeGuard Basic, there's also SiteLock Essential, and professional emails. And I don't use my email, the professional emails, because because when you purchase a domain, you also have the options to create email related to your domain. Okay, and so for example, by purchasing this domain, I can create emails with this extension. Okay, so instead of having gmail.com, I can make emails with xyz365.net. Okay, and so for example, my name is Frank, and so I could create an email with Frank at xyz365.net. And so that's something that you can do when you get a domain. I think this is pretty cool. And so it's up to you to decide if you want to go with these emails. But usually I try to keep my emails with Gmail and Outlook, but you can, depending on your needs, right? And also I would also disable SiteLock Essential, and I would also disable CodeLock Basic, because those are basically optional packages that they provide more security to your website. But the thing is that when you create a WordPress website, you have access to all sort of different plugins with WordPress, and usually these things here you have to pay for these packages. But in reality, when you have access to your WordPress website, you can use plugins that are basically free, that does the same thing, that basically do the same thing as these packages. And so I do not recommend you to use these packages. And you can find free alternative with WordPress with plugins, and so I would recommend you to disable them. So what I would pay is basically the service term, the hosting plan, and I will also pay for the domain privacy. And you have to also keep in mind that every year all these things are going to be renewed. Okay, and so basically the service term is going to be renewed every year, and also uh, the domain is going to renew every year. I mean, it's free the first year in this case, and also the domain privacy is going to renew every year. And so it's just something to keep in mind. And as of right now, I would pay $64 Canadian dollars for the first year, and then the next years or whatever, then I might pay around $150 Canadian. And so this is what I wanted to show you. And so with this hosting plan, you can start creating your own website. And so I hope that this video is somehow helpful to you. And let me know if you have any question. Okay, peace.